Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to do a video about similarities I've seen between second female lead characters and I would argue like toxic male leads, or let's not use the word toxic, maybe let's use strong male leads and how they're similar. And I'll be using examples from like The Red Sleeve, I'll be using examples from Story of Cunning Palace and even My Dearest as well. And then also talking about like Princess Young and dramas like that. So let's get right into it. So first of all, in general, like I've already made a video a while ago talking about how I get very frustrated with second female leads because they chase after the male lead and the male lead has either verbally or just in action has told the second female lead that he's not interested in her, but they'll still chase him. But I'm like, the strong male leads like Shui in Story of Cunning Palace, for example, like there are so many instances that highlight that he was never the first choice of the female lead. And while the first shall be the last and last shall be the first in the Bible, in romance that's not always the case. Like he's lucky, if anything, that he ended up getting the girl, but it's like he did a lot of stuff that, like, let's say like he was a second female lead instead. Like just imagine, right, a second female lead doing what Shui does in his relationship to Bailu's character, right? Like if I personally think of things, if I gender swap it, right, if I put it into a different perspective, I would hate his character. In fact, the fact that he is the male lead and he's male makes a difference. It's like change any of the context with like your favorite dramas and make them the villain, make them the second female lead, because usually the second female leads are portrayed as the villainous ones, and so suddenly everything that's really beautiful and grand and fantastic actually becomes very frightening very quickly. It's like, spot the difference between Chang'e and Princess Young and a lot of the stuff that she does to get to Bajun after she feels scorned by him, which is Shui, and it's like in Story of Cunning Palace, and there aren't going to be like a lot of differences between the characters. And I'm now interrogating myself and asking myself, it's like, is it me being entirely misogynistic by kind of like hating those kind of second female lead characters, but justifying it, right, with male characters? But then again, I could argue for myself as well, and I could say, but if a second male lead were to behave like a second female lead, or if a second male lead were to behave like a male lead and do that, I wouldn't appreciate it, because ultimately the male lead is the person you're supposed to be rooting for, right? They're the hero. The female lead is the heroine, and it's like regardless of what's going on in the drama, like they're the ones you're supposed to be rooting for. And while I think the leads in Story of Cunning Palace are toxic individually and probably even together, in my own personal opinion, they're the leads, and like that makes a difference between like how it's going to be viewed by the audience. But we can't also ignore how the portrayal of gender on screen, even when the male lead and the female lead are like acting the same as like your average like second female lead, is completely different. It's like, let's say in Princess Young, let's say Young was like Chang'e and did stuff that Chang'e did, but Chang'e was the main character. A lot of us it would likely have been written in a way where, yes, you have this like horrible female lead, but you're also supposed to have like a bunch of sympathy for her. And I realize like it's more complicated than simply like, oh, internalized misogyny, because I don't even think that's what I would call this. It's literally just noticing like gender imbalances and gender differences when it comes to portrayal of characters. And I've noticed this more because all the dramas I've watched lately, like Red Sleeve and My Dearest, the male leads in the context of the show is like there's a lot of toxic things happening, alongside the fact that like the female leads in the shows like My Dearest and Red Sleeve reject the male leads for some reason or the other, but the male leads are very relentless in their love for the female leads. And it's like that relentlessness coming from like a second female lead would be incredibly off-putting. If that person wasn't the male lead and they were being relentless, it would be off-putting and it would be scary, and suddenly like the hero becomes a villain very, very quickly when you look at it from that perspective. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. If you like my channel, please subscribe. If you like this video, please hit the like button below. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.